Hey there, you guys. Jan Anderson coming at ya. Yeah. Anyway, today I wanted to talk to you about using room tone instead of silence to, quiet things down in your recordings. Sometimes you'll be recording along and everything's going great. But then upon reflection, as you're proof listening to your audio, you find that, maybe a car horn blew in the background, or the house creaked in a certain way, or a family member farted in the other room, or something like that, something you don't want in your recordings. Now, if it happens while you're speaking, well, then there's not a whole lot you can do about that. You're probably going to have to re-record that section and splice it in there. However, if it happens during a breath or a pause or something like that, you may be, well, obviously you want to get rid of it. And you may be tempted to use the silence feature of your DAW, but don't do it. Silence does not sound natural. Silence in terms of recording is like the absence of everything, any information on your track. What sounds more natural is room tone. Now, I'm going to assume that you're recording in a well-treated recording space and that you're recording at good levels, and then you'll be in good shape for recording room tone. Now, getting back to silence, using silence, the problem with silence is that it sounds unnatural. When there's absolutely nothing there on the track, it brings the attention to the listener, or it brings unwanted attention. Really, it's throwing up a red flag because it sounds unnatural. And the whole point of our job is to make things sound as natural as possible within your recording environment. And using absolute silence sounds totally unnatural. It sounds weird. So it raises red flags that the listener will pick up on. Now, recording room tone is very different. Recording room tone is kind of like this. Here, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, here I've got a little bit of a track recorded. Let's take a listen to it. Mary had a little lamb. Its fleece was white as snow. And everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Okay, obviously there's some stuff there that we don't want. So recording room tone is just doing this. Start another track, hit record. Now, as you can see, I'm recording my voice here in the second track right here. But to record room tone, I just stop talking and you don't want to do anything else. You don't want to shuffle around in your seat. You don't want to create any noise. So you just be quiet like this. Okay, now I've just recorded some room tone. I'm going to stop the recording right there. This little piece right here is going to be my room tone. See, it's nice and quiet. Now, it's not perfectly quiet. I've got some construction going on outside of my building these days, so it does tend to lend some low-end rumble. So let's just clip that out of there, clip this out of there, and then I've got my room tone right here. Now, the thing to do, instead of hitting silence, which is in Audacity, it's this button right here, silence audio selection. Don't use that. Use this piece of audio right here, copy and paste it. So, for instance, this kind of farting noise that I made, we don't want it. Obviously, we don't want that in our final recording. So we're going to want to copy approximately, or actually a little bit shorter than that, of our room tone right there. I'm going to go up here to copy, and then I'm going to highlight the area that I want to paste over, and then hit paste. There. It was white as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Now, obviously, that's a pretty long pause, so I'll probably take away some of that. It was white as snow, and everywhere... That's still a little long. White as snow, and everywhere that Mary went, the lamb was sure to go. Now, I can also paste that over the end of the clip and also over the beginning. So I'll just highlight over this whole thing and paste. Mary had a little lamb. Now it's nice and quiet. Every area that had either a breath that I didn't want, like in the beginning, or some weird noise at the end, and that kind of fart noise was going to try to say something a little more delicate than fart, but that's what it was. It was a fart noise. It's snow. And everywhere that... Anyway, now that's all cleaned up, and I used room tone. Now I'm going to stop sharing and just explain that the thing about room tone, or using room tone, is that it sounds natural. Even though you're sitting in your recording space and it's dead quiet, your microphone just running, still, your room still carries a presence. And even though it's nice and quiet, there's still a natural sounding presence about it. Whereas silence, it's just stark and void of anything. So to make a long story short, or even longer, as I tend to do, is to use room tone instead of silence. Now, in an upcoming video or another video, I'm going to show an Audacity tool called Punch Copy Paste, which goes great with room tone. So keep an eye out for that. And until then, don't use silence. I'll find you and I'll reprimand you.